Hey y'all, I have no idea who's going to join me tonight. Oh, my glasses are dirty. Woo! I'm looking at my glasses and I'm like, I can see the fingerprints. Ugh. It's been a long day. It's been a long ass week, month, retrograde. And I'm hoping that some of you all will come on in just a few minutes because I'm only going to spend a few minutes online. I'm going to get ready to go to bed and get up early. Hello, Jasmine. Ooh, these glasses are dirty. Lord have mercy. Hello, B. Hello, NJ. How y'all doing? Well, if you haven't seen my update from yesterday's live video, I have contacted the Bob Evans corporate office. I'm telling you all, it's so funny because right around the time that happened, this person, Pharaoh something, who was on my Facebook list, what a lot of people don't seem to realize is that I let a lot of people on my friends list who probably shouldn't be there, who don't want to follow the rules for engagement, but he was lecturing me in a competitor's group about behavior of a priestess, okay? And I really think man, he did. Y'all just don't know. You have to understand that at that point where that man got in my face, the whole reason we were in Bob Evans was because we were trying to support the boycott against Waffle House. Now, the Waffle House here and where I live, mostly black folks, not, it's Waffle House, not the greatest food, but we've always had the sweetest people there. So it kind of pained me that for the culture, I was, Robin, you won't be in my video, honey? I don't think I know you. We were going to Bob Evans to avoid Waffle House, and almost the same shit happened there. And I promise me, y'all, I think it was a mixture of being triggered and literally like scared for my well-being. I had a Sophia moment because I had my youngest daughter with me. If my oldest daughter and her boyfriend who had been there, Lord only knows what would have jumped off. Because, my youngest daughter is like, I know my mama's crazy. Let me get her out of here. Plus there were people she knew there, teenagers are. But I let her know, you don't never let nobody ever, I don't care who they are. You have to go watch the video, Tony. It was really, I hope he's fired too. Basically, there was a problem with my food, and the black waitresses could give a shit. I'm going to call them colored because they acted like coons, and basically could give a shit about like why slapping unmelted cheese on some eggs was not acceptable. So I was talking to an older white waitress, and who I guess is the general manager of the store, came up while I'm having this cordial conversation with this woman and leans in, and I believe he pointed at me, but I know he leaned into my personal space and screamed at me, "Eat it!" And I was like, "What?" He was like, "Eat it!" And then I lost it because my mama don't talk to me like that. She never did. I've never spoken to my kids. I've never forced my children to eat anything. So when an old ass white motherfucker in a Bob Evans restaurant gets in your face and screams at you, you have a moment. And my moment was sitting there, and I'm telling y'all, it was spirit. When you talking about how a priestess should behave, that held me in my chair. Because if y'all don't know me, I'm West Side, Chicago West Side. And my oldest daughter is a mixture of West Side, South Side, North Side. She's been on all sides of Chicago. She would have jumped his ass, okay? But something in my, I can't even explain it, but what happened was I was so triggered that I went off. I was like, "What is wrong with you? Who does that?" And I immediately start screaming. He's like, "What can I do for you? What can I do for you?" I'm like, "Get away from me. Get away from me." And I'm not even going to scream like I was screaming in that restaurant. And then had some other Ofe motherfuckers across from me talking about how I was overreacting. Them bitches ain't never had to worry about the cops arresting you and trampling you on the ground because you asked for plastic cutlery. That video from Waffle House, like, replayed in my mind when that man got in my face. And I knew that it was, hey, Carolyn, yes, Chi-Town in the house. You know, don't let the light skin fool you. I am from the fucking hood, okay? And the thing is I've had the experience of living in both country, Ohio, when I was a young child, and then Chicago during my adolescent years, country-ass Northern Illinois when I was in college, where my life was threatened on a regular basis. The Qs and the Alphas used to have to escort me to class because I was Black Student Union president and I was a student association senator. And I always fought for our rights. And in a time where, you know, I went to a university where Black people couldn't even live in the dorms until 1961. So I've been there. I've done that. You know, it took me, I'm still like fucking gobsmacked. It took me well over 24 hours to get my mind right to call the corporate office. Now, if y'all call there talking about Elizabeth Roof, this, that, and the other, understand Elizabeth Roof is my grandmother's name. But you can say that you watched a video on Facebook where there was a Black woman who was harassed in their restaurant and you want something done about it. You know, we had gone to the dentist. We had 7:30 dentist appointments. And I wanted to get, no, you know, and I'm sitting here thinking, I got the 16-year-old with me. Why is she not videotaping this? You know, this man literally, and he thought it was a joke. You know, instead of coming over and saying how I can help, how can I help you? He's leaning over, screaming at me to eat my food, even though it was like straight garbage. And, you know, I got a job. I work for a very respectable organization. I have my own business. I own a home. And, you know, sometimes you just got to think about it. And I was kind of like, you know, I was torn about my respectful reaction because I wasn't respectful. I went the entire fuck off. However, I didn't curse at that man. I did not give him hood because, you know, and I could all say, I'm sure it does have cameras. I'm sure they'll be able to pull the tapes on what that man did. And I'm asking that he lose his job. Hi, Victoria. I'm asking that he lose his job. All we wanted was breakfast. And as a customer, if my food is cold and, you know, unsatisfactory, I should be able to say that. Now, what they did was, and you could tell they weren't listening to me at all because the two sisters that waited on me, they went back and had them redo the eggs. I don't ever send anything back to the kitchen. Because I know how petty people are who work in restaurants. I was just like, no, I just think that, you know, customer constructive criticism, the next time somebody orders American cheese on their eggs, either mix it in or tell them that you're going to slap it on the top. Give them the chance to say, you know, that's really not how I want to have my breakfast. But it's, you know, that's the thing. What I was telling someone a few weeks ago that if I wanted to, you know, excuse me, I always talk about, people are always like, why are you still so committed to social justice? You know, you live in a nice place. It's racially diverse, you know, and you think, and that's what a lot of people think. They think that because they go and they get their educations, I have a master's degree. They think that because, you know, either you look, that's why I got locks. I started my locks back in 12 years ago, because I realized that it really didn't matter. That no matter what happened, I was still going to be a Black woman. And so that was a time, you know, I never believed in respectability politics. I don't believe in, I believe in there's ways you can carry yourself respectfully and still let people know that you're not fucking around. But when somebody threatens your personal space, you know, and everybody's saying they wouldn't have blamed me if I choked his ass out. I'm glad I didn't, for lots of reasons. But I'm going to tell you that I could not have been that person without being initiated. When you are on taboo, there are a lot of things you're not allowed to do. And one of them is lose your temper. And you are going to be tested. And I tell everybody who is initiating in our house, you really, really, really need to learn how to get full control over yourself. And that's really important, because when the spirits mount you, you don't have any control. And so in all other aspects of your life, you should. And so it's changed the way that I approach people, places, and things, because you all know that if somebody comes on my profile with some bullshit, they get checked. And I'm not going to make no bones about it. Ask Mambo. I'm not telling you that. I'm not talking about that. But everybody knows that sometimes people in ATRs get lifetime taboos. But when you initiate, everybody knows there's a period of time where you gotta be on your P's and Q's. You have to understand initiation is the beginning of the journey. It is not the destination. Life is just gonna offer you so many tests. And like I told you, Jamie, they gonna play with you. They gonna make you see how committed you are. And so through that training, Amanda, the Florida water for this weekend, by the way, you all, I'm doing Hoodoo 201 virtually for the first time. The Florida water, oil, and mixture I gave you is because you are not going to be here to make your own. However, you will be making your own formulation. I just wanted you to have that. Yes, initiation, not accumulation. Yes, exactly. So that's why you got that in your box. Okay? But, life is a test. You're going to, thank you, I love you too. And like I said, it was just so funny that was juxtaposed against somebody going in a competitor's group and talking about my character as a priestess. Because I don't tolerate everybody's conversation in my wall, in my home, and in my life. This is my electronic home. Okay? So the reality of the matter is, you have to have boundaries. So it's so funny that while this was going on in that restaurant and a test of my boundaries was going on, this man invaded my space, screamed at me, and he was an old white man in public, and how I handled that. And so this person, this Pharaoh somebody, Hotep something, really disrupted a post on my page about a very emotional tribute to slaves. It's a big sculpture telling lies about how we don't have any statues of people unless it's slavery, and that's not true. They're erecting a statue to Senator Chisholm, or Congresswoman Chisholm. I just posted that on my wall. So when people come into my electronic space or my personal space talking craziness, yeah, we're gonna have a problem. Courtney, I can't talk to you right now. Courtney is calling me on my other line. Courtney from Ducks to Onyx. I can't talk to you, Courtney, right now. God, Jesus, Lord. She must not know I'm live. So ignore that little ringing in the background, because it's going to keep ringing, and I will call you back, Courtney, when I'm done. Okay? Courtney and I are going to do a video together soon, because we got some pretty exciting stuff to share with you. But I'm not picking up right now because I'm in the middle of a Facebook Live. Stop. Hang up. Will somebody message Courtney Alexander and tell her I'm doing Facebook Live? Will somebody message Courtney Alexander? If y'all know her, Dust to Onyx, my ace, tell her I'm doing a Facebook Live, and I will call her back, and unless it's an emergency. Okay? So, anyways. But this person, while this was happening in the restaurant, no, it's not an accident, Amanda. Stop messaging me. You're here on Facebook Live with me. Stop messaging me. That is not an accident. You got that because it's part of your package, and we will talk about it later. Jesus Christ. That's the thing is, nothing for me happens singularly. Like I said, I'm dealing with this man screaming at me in a restaurant, and at the same time when I get in my car and after I make this Facebook Live video about what happened to me, then I go into a very respected root workers group where it's popping up on my screen. Do you not have a smartphone? Of course, I'm not reading my DMs. You keep popping up. Stop it. Anyways, somebody was besmirching my character in a conjure group, saying that it is self, what did they say? Self-righteousness and something else. The requirements for being a priestess, and how he would never recommend my products to anybody based on the fact that I deleted them because I disagreed with them, and I defriended him. So because he couldn't, and then he kept trying to message me, even though I said, this conversation is over. I don't want to talk to you no more. People don't understand boundaries. Right. He was crazy. Because I'm just like, the address or the phone number, the Bob Evans corporate office is an 800 number. But, you can just tell them you saw a video of a woman who lives in Reynoldsburg, Illinois, who was verbally assaulted by one of their managers, and you don't appreciate it. But it was just so funny that was happening at the same time, and thank God I didn't know it was happening. I didn't realize that had happened till I got back home and was working, that he tagged me in this post because he couldn't tag me anyplace else. And basically, trying to besmirch my good name with other magical practitioners. But even the admin was like, sis, I'm going to delete this. And I'm like, thank you. Because I told him, I was like, what you did, right. Like, I owed him conversation. That was crazy. It was like, it was crazy. Because, if I don't want to talk to you, why are you so butthurt? Courtney, I'll call you back, boo-boo. Because I got the package. I'm really excited, and I was going to show the stuff tonight. Can I show it and point them towards your website? I got it. I'm in love. I'm in love. So let me know if I can show my stuff, or if we need to talk about this some more. Courtney, can I go get the stuff? Can I go get the stuff? Let me know, and I'll show everybody what you sent me. Because I don't think everybody knows about this stuff, and people need to know about this stuff. So let me know. And then that announcement we wanted to make, I don't know if we can make it tonight. Let me know. Anyways, I work a lot with Courtney. She's created the Dust to Onyx deck. I love her. But anyways, let's go back to that. Basically saying that if I wasn't, how can I be a priestess if I'm not this and I'm not that? People don't seem to understand that, this life, you're still going to get upset. You're still going, okay. Can I tell them about the book? Can I tell them about the book for the second edition? Yes or no? Say it. Come on. You can type. Come on now. I'm going to go get the stuff. But I want to know if I can tell them about the other stuff. Okay, I'm going to go get the stuff while Courtney decides whether she's going to type back or not. Hold on, y'all. I want to show you something. Now watch me not be able to find it. Oh, here it is. Okay, I have it. Okay, so I don't know if you all know about Courtney's line of accessories that go with her Dust to Onyx set. She sent me some swag. We're trying to, okay, not that. Okay, I won't talk about that. But we're going to talk about this. Courtney sent me some swag. These are bags and different things that are based on her deck. Okay? And that's my ace. I'm going to stick to the stuff. Okay. I'm just going to stick to the stuff. We'll save that announcement for another day. I'm so excited about that, though. But anyways, I want you all, dusttoonyx.com. We are also working to see how you can order the accessories for her deck and things from my website. Because I understand that there's sometimes some people that know about me but don't know about Courtney. And or vice versa. I want everybody to see this stuff. So this is a beautiful, beautiful zipper bag based on one of her cards with the logo on the back. Now, I bought several of the second edition, and the reason why is because that's going to be my working deck. After I did that, yes, baby, listen, I'm going to work and collaborate with any black worker, psychic, anybody who is doing amazing things. I want to sell their products in my store. I want to promote them. I want them to be readers, okay? So, yeah, I'm always, yes, well, they're still for sale, dusttoonyx.com. So, when I get my second edition, I have a beautiful, beautiful carrying case, but that's not it. This is my favorite card in the deck. And this is a scarf, but baby, this is about to be a wall hanging in my house. Look at that. That's the Conjurer, isn't it, Courtney? With the infinity on her forehead. This thing is huge, y'all. I can't even, this is going to be hanging in my home. Okay? This is a scarf, wall hanging, tapestry, whatever. And you can just wrap yourself in Dust to Onyx love. But I'm not done yet. Oh, she's got tote bags, y'all. Dust to Onyx tote bags. Okay? And y'all know I have a notebook addiction. She's got notebooks. Okay? So, seriously, go to dusttoonyx.com. Support this sister, because this sister's working on a publishing company. She's working on more decks, more books, more everything. Okay? And I get behind a lot of people, but I don't fucks with lots of people like I fucks with Courtney. Because Courtney is that book for the book for Dust to Onyx. Y'all need to read that book. I read that book and I was just blown away. You all don't seem to understand that there are very few tarot decks out there for us, written from an ancestral black perspective, that is also has tremendous insight into the occult. Y'all need to order that deck. People always talk about what we don't have, but then when we get somebody that's doing something, they don't. And it's disappointing. And I just came on here to talk to you guys about that was a crazy crashy day yesterday. Say goodbye to Mercury retrograde. Yeah, that book is amazing, isn't it? Oh, the book is just, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy another deck from Courtney, and I think I'm going to have some type of contest. I'll buy another deck from Courtney and have some type of contest so one of you all can win it. I'll talk to Courtney and see what kind of contest she'd want to have. It's going to have to be something literary. You're going to have to write for it. I think I have to have an essay contest about what having images that pertain to us, what that means to us as black occultists. I think that would be really good, and it'd be very interesting to read your work. So we'll see. The book comes with the deck. Yes, the book comes with the deck. But yeah, so the second edition's coming soon. Courtney's giving you guys some updates. When you're an artist, let me tell you something. I sat up on Sunday with Tiffany working on my books, y'all, trying to get ready for tax time. And I bought QuickBooks. Just getting it installed. I don't do numbers. It's really hard to figure out all these logistics of running a business so you don't send yourself to the poorhouse. So, support her. The book is, I just can't even. I just, when I read it, I was just like, where have you been all my life? So, thank you, Courtney. When I did the unboxing last year, when I got the first edition, I literally got goosebumps. And I you know me, I ain't I don't make things up for the sake of internet followers or pretend to be spooky woo woo and experience things for people to follow me. But I literally got goosebumps when I opened that first edition, and I have it hidden in my home. I will not be using it. That is, I'm waiting for my second edition too. Because the first edition is just so precious to me. And the second edition is going to be beautiful too. But yeah, dusttoonyx.com. Get your swag. A lot of people, instead of doing a big fancy grimoire, they write in notebooks. Why don't you get some notebooks and put your spells in there? Or, I'm going to be using this particular notebook for my studies of her deck and the book. That was another thing. I didn't want to write in that book. Yeah, that first edition is just, and I see people, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were putting away the Dust to Onyx cards. I was like, look at that. Yes. So, like I said, what is that Issa Rae said? She's like, I'm rooting for all the black folks. And I am. And that, the reality is because we just don't have enough people rooting for us. And so in this environment, I spent the evening talking to some of my voodoo sisters about all of the mess and fuckery that has happened in voodoo, especially with some of these mambos who have showed up on the scene who aren't black. And y'all have to understand that, this is sacred closed systems. So for people who are not Haitian, and that means you black folks too, they call us Blanco. You have to be very careful with who you choose to initiate with, because they will lie to you. And so a lot of the lies that we see, like Freda doesn't like women, or Azili Danto is the Loa for homosexuals. There actually is a Loa for gay people, but it's not Azili Danto. They tell all these stories because they have been lied to, because they're not going to receive the truth. And then conversely, they tell these lies to everybody else. And that's why that certain mambo in New Orleans thinks that she can offer the Loa a coconut instead of a physical live animal sacrifice. Animal sacrifice. When I was in Haiti, I went to a couple little not grocery stores, local corner stores. There, I didn't see, and it's Cap-Haitian. It's a different type of environment than Port-au-Prince. I didn't go to any gigantic supermarkets. People have to understand that people kill their food there. I mean, that's just, sacrifice, ritual sacrifice is prayer. The Jews still do it in kosher slaughterhouses, but nobody has a problem with kosher meat. In fact, kosher meat be damn good. Okay? But we understand that animal is prayed over and ritually killed, and the blood is drained, just like in other ancient practices. So I understand people are vegan. I get it. I can't, on a regular, I stopped cutting up whole chickens, but that's also because it's already dead. If I think about my meat as meat, I can't think too hard about what I'm eating, but I am an omnivore, and I do like to eat meat. But even if you don't, you still will have to consume it. And you may have to sacrifice it at some point. So, and your ancestors wasn't vegan. If they asking for you, oh God, mama, don't do that. Don't do that. My mama, she's funny. She got jokes. She wants some chitlins, and she knows. She used to make me clean them when I was little. I gotta go find somebody to clean some that would just, oh God, mama, stop. She just she playing with me. Anything but chitlins. But if they ask for something, you do have to give them. I think mama's just messing with me because she never really was a fan. I think she more or less did it for her boyfriend and my grandfather. And I've eaten them before, but they taste like shit. But if your ancestors ask for them, guess what? You gotta do it. We passed chitlins yesterday. See, that's my mama playing with me, and my daughter, who is a vegetarian, was like, "Mama, look," and I was just like, "No, man." But see, that's the thing. When you feed the ancestors, you ain't gonna feed them a bucket of chitlins. So anybody that lives, yeah, I mean, I don't care how much you scrape chitlins. They're still chitlins. Anybody that lives near me that's making chitlins, I don't know, because that's the thing, you can't really pay somebody to kill it for you. That it doesn't work that way. So I might end up having to give my grandmother chitlins, but my mother chitlins. My grandmother didn't eat that mess. Now, we did eat pig's feet. Maybe she'll compromise with me for pig's feet. I'll have to divine on it. We're going to talk about it, but I really just think she's messing with me because I'm on Facebook Live. My mother has a really good habit about that. Speaking of my mother, on my birthday, my mother gave me, they are shit tubes. My mother gave me BlackPsychics.com and the Black Psychics Association. So we're going to launch the Black Psychics Association in January. And in order to be a reader, and we're only taking 25 charter members. And in order to, they sell them, really? Maybe I can at least buy them really clean. Maybe. I cook them, but I don't know. Me and my mom are going to have a conversation. I'm going to have to really hook her up. But in any case, Black Psychics Association is going to go live in January. We're going to put off the launch of the actual 800 phone line until June, because we're going to get the members who are the charter members of BlackPsychics.com for a training program, getting them ready to go on the site. And my mother gave me that on her birthday. And I was like, "Mama, that's taken." She's like, "Bitch, if you don't go look, I told you." And sure enough, it was available. So I bought it. So we are working on it, but we want to do it right. Cleaned buckets. Okay, I can get down with some cleaned buckets. So, yeah. So we will be announcing, my team will be announcing when we're going to start taking applications for the Black Psychics Association. We're right now coming up with the bylaws and the code of ethics. And I like this because it's not just workers, because not everybody who's a diviner is a worker. And we'll span practices. So I'm going to be looking for diversity in those applications. So yeah, we have Mexican markets. I just don't know if they sell them cleaned. So it's been a trying day. A trying, period. And I just wanted to let you all know that I'm doing emotionally better, but still real fucked up what happened behind yesterday morning. Because that was a point I was trying to make. Y'all know I go in circles because y'all be chiming in and then I switch conversations, and I probably really shouldn't do that. But if you want to know what happened yesterday, go back and watch my Facebook Live from yesterday about the traumatic experience I had in a restaurant, in a Bob Evans restaurant here. And then come back to this. But the spirits did hold me back because, like I said, I'm from the West Side, and this too much. Okay, that was a messed up experience. But especially because I'm almost 50 years old, you're not gonna get in my face and talk to me like that. Yeah, both of those situations, and like that dude, and at the same time, somebody's in a competitor's group slandering me. And they even took the post down. Because I'm like, you can see what you all about right here. You just trying to put me on Front Street. And you mad because I'm not talking to you. So now you're going to tell people not to buy my products. And I had explained the same thing. I explained it to him one way. And I explained it to my daughter the other way. But the middle ground is, with anything, especially this business, anything, I will burn this motherfucker down before I sacrifice my principles. I will not do anything that goes against what I am about. Case in point, I got a message from a young lady today trying to save a relationship and her man was cheating. I can't help you. I'm not going to try to get you to save a relationship where you're not being loved properly. What I can do is help you love yourself. I can help you get to your better self so that you wouldn't even want to reconsider someone who would treat you like that. And so that's the way I live my life. I'm not one person when I come on Facebook and I'm somebody completely different in person, which is really funny to me because people be having me fucked up and, or they'll be my friend for a period of time or think they're my friend and then but when it comes to maybe an interaction or conversation we have, I'm still the same person with them. Right. I'll fuck around, send her some fly and a bottle of Reunited. That's what I'll do. That's about as underhanded as I'll get. We'll send her what she really needs rather than what she's asking for. I've literally refused to do things for clients that I've done readings for, and it's the opposite of the reading, and they still want it done anyway. I don't do that. And so for me personally, those are the things I'm going to look for in a spiritual worker. I am not going to look for someone who is a hired gun who will do what the client wants for money. Because it's going to fail anyway. And then you're going to be mad about it and you're going to be broke. I'm not going to do things for clients that they should be doing for themselves. Like, if somebody has a situation where they need a house cleansing or something like that, I always tell people, look, buy the Florida water, buy the cleansing stuff, buy the incense, try it yourself, see what happens first. Because my first line is not, oh, I can charge you $300 to cleanse your house remotely, knowing good and goddamn well that's not going to work. And too often, and that's why psychics and people like that have a hard time getting credit card processors, because credit card processors ban occult practices. And that's because there are a lot of chargebacks, even with some of these classes and stuff, or products, people will buy stuff. I've literally had to call customers and be like, don't you buy another goddamn thing because I know you haven't used what I sent you. I had a woman that was spending $200 a week. And I said, if you don't cut that out and use what the hell I gave you first. And so, it's not about money. I'll close every fucking door. Walk away from all of this. But I'm still going to have my spirits. I'm still going to have my practice. I'm still going to have my spirituality. Before I become a hired gun for shit that is just despicable to do to a human being, I will not do work without divination. I will not attack innocent people or children. Yeah, Square, I didn't fuck with Square because that's just right in their terms of service. In fact, it's in most terms of service of credit card processors, but it is really not often because of spell work. It's often because, it is often because of spell work. Or somebody got a reading and they feel like they were lied to, and we have to put for entertainment purposes all over our website. I do it because legally it's required, but I am insured, okay? And I keep my promises. We're trying to get through Black Friday's orders now. It takes a while to make things by hand. I wish y'all could see what this table looks like up in here. But we make it happen. And when we mess up something, I had somebody I don't know what I was smoking the day I packed this box for China, and it didn't have she ordered 2 or 3 soaps and I only put 1 in. I gave her a credit on her account. I gave her more than what the products was worth and I always ship her extra because my international customers, that shipping is insane. I ship to New Zealand, I ship to Australia, to the United Kingdom, to China, and baby, that's one of the things that's kept me in the United States because I really don't know if I could keep my business open if I had to ship things internationally. So, the bottom line is, I'm crotchety. I have very low patience for bullshit, people who don't read, people who won't study, people who are not devoted, people who have excuses, cowards. Okay? And like, if if you can ask some people who have interviewed with me, if y'all interview for blackpsychics.com, you better be on your shit. I'm not going to have nobody hemming and hawing and not really being, because if you're hesitant and you're nervous, you're not open to spirit. So how can you receive messages in which to give to your client? So this is not a game. This is not for amateurs. This is for seasoned professionals, but it's a chance to get you out there, and we gonna make this money because all these other folks, all these clear folks got psychic hotlines. Why don't we? Why are we working for them? Why are we working for Oranum? Why are we working for Kimbra, whatever, all these other people? Why are we working for them? And that's another thing. I was telling you guys that I'm not a very big believer in apology politics. I'm never going to apologize for being black. I'm never going. It was funny because I was on a conference call the other day and my future son-in-law was like, that's the whitest voice I've ever heard come out your mouth. And I guess I code switch, but I don't really pretend to be somebody else. I work within what's acceptable for my environment. I'm not going to sacrifice myself for anything, for anybody. I've been blackity black all my damn life. That ain't gonna change. I'm always gonna look at things from that lens because I have been a social justice warrior before they came up with the term. We call them civil rights workers. I come from a family of very, as light as we are, very, very black militant people. And, my mama's favorite saying was, don't start no shit, don't be no shit. People should be able to live in peace. People should be able to live their best lives. And those are my goals. And I was talking to somebody the other day that how very easily, and it's funny that happened to me in my suburb where I live yesterday. I was talking to somebody and I was telling her, I guess I could hide. I guess I could not care. You know how some of us get on the come up and move to the suburbs and have nice cars and nice homes and our kids go to good schools and everybody is racist but polite. Nobody jumps up in your face with that stuff. And I'm like, but I explained to the person that I was talking to is any day that could be me. Because all of the trappings of the middle class, if that's what you want to call it, the bottom line is money, education, don't change this. Don't change this. Because as light as I am, anywhere I go, I'm black. It's very clear. And it's one of the reasons why I stopped straightening my hair. It was like, I'm not going to change my body composition for acceptance. And people will just have to get over it. And it hasn't caused me to, in my opinion, professionally at least, any problems yet. I think a lot of people, and I work in education, I think a lot of people get a kick out of the way I'm very unconventional. And that's okay too. And, I think we all should have varied cultures, varied religions, and varied viewpoints on matters. But, we have to respect each other's boundaries. And so yesterday was all about boundaries. That gentleman who wanted to go into somebody else's group and talk about me and talk about how he wasn't going to refer me to anybody. I'm like, bitch, you ain't never bought nothing from me anyway. You ain't paid a motherfucking bill in this house. And you want me to be worried about you referring me? You ain't never referred nobody to me anyway. Not once have I had a client say you referred me. So how about you kiss my ass and let the door hit you where God split you? See ya. And then this dude yesterday, screaming in my face thinking it's funny, which shows that they have no concept of culturally what that is like for not just a black woman, for any woman, for some man to get up and scream in her face in public and look at her in a menacing way. concept that people don't think about how other people feel. And just because I ask that you not get on my page. We were all on one accord in that post about that slavery sculpture, and then you want to come in here like Debbie Downer and talk about pain pimping and shit like that, where that's not the case. These were black people who built that museum. Right, it's always the low rent ones. Those are the ones asking me where their order is, and they just ordered an oil. So literally, to avoid that problem, when we get orders from a certain date, we pull all the small ones first and bang them out, because we know that the people who have spent the least are going to act the biggest fool. My friend used to call them welfare clients. Or you give somebody something and they might act a fool. So, I try to do orders in the way they're received. But sometimes if we just got the oil, we just put it in an envelope, put it in the package, because that would be guaranteed 99.9% of the time that one customer talking about, where's my order? Because you think that because you bought one oil that I should have been able to turn that around in a couple of days, but you didn't think about the person that had the order in front of you that had 10 oils, So, yeah, and it's just... all of this stuff, it's enough to make you tired. But when and that's, getting back to the whole priestess thing and him trying to call me on the carpet about how a priestess should behave. When you go through this process of initiation, pledging is a joke. Number one, I've pledged to by myself. It makes pledging look like a joke. And you realize exactly what you can handle, and what you're made of, and who you are at your core. And that is what has been really monumental in me not being in jail right now for, slapping a man who screamed at me. And, not acting a fool in some other conjurers who I respect very much in their group. Everybody messaging me right now, but folks, y'all ridiculous. Go to bed. And maturity. It's kind of like the same thing with relationships, and why I tell a lot of these clients, always women, always sisters who are committed to struggle love. That's why I tell them, no, I'm not going to do that, because that's detrimental. Just like my own kids. I'm like, no, you don't get to have that, because that's not any good for you. No, I'm not going to let you do that, because that's not in your best interest. And when, and that's the thing, especially with older kids, they're going to go and make their own decisions anyway. They're going to end up doing what the fuck they wanted to do. But as a parent, as a mentor, as a guide, I'm going to tell you about my opposition. Okay? I'm going to let you know, because there was nobody around really that did that for me. Sadly, my mom, she went through a lot. She came from a place of bitterness. So I really didn't get a lot of objectivity from her. But I got a lot of good advice. Hostile, but good. And I had to learn as being a parent myself how to take that and turn some of that into positive things rather than negative hostility when I'm cultivating, growing my own kids, because they're like a garden and they are what you put into them. And so I want people to remember that as well. There was another point I wanted to make and I completely vaped on it. I don't remember what it was, but, if you want to call the, Bob Evans office, I know what they're going to try to do. I know they're going to try to either offer me some free coupons, and I wouldn't go back and eat that shit if you paid me. And they're going to probably say he's going to have some sensitivity training, and that's not acceptable for me either. He needs to lose his job. He needs to be fired immediately, because you don't do that to people. You don't traumatize your customers, especially ones who are not creating a disruption in the store, who are having a calm conversation with another waitress in my seat. I was seated. I wasn't up in anybody's face intimidating anybody. So, I guess that's how it's going to go. So don't forget to recap. I'm doing better. But baby, every time I think about that man screaming in my face, and it just like, I am Sophia. I could have been Sophia. I could have been that lady at Waffle House who they trampled because she didn't get her plastic forks and they called the police on her. And I'm never going to be that person. I don't want to be that person. But I was talking about how easy, I was talking to someone the other day, and I keep losing that train of thought, and this is the point I'm trying to get to, about, yeah, I thought that I could very easily hide from a lot of this shit that goes on out here in these streets to our people. I was like, I guess I could try to do that, for my own mental health. I know I've stopped posting a lot of the violence against us because everybody else is posting it. People know about it. Because I don't want people to constantly ingest that. I started a conjurers group to do social justice workings against these people. And I had stepped back from that because it was a barrage of pain and injustice coming at me every day. And as an empath, I had to say, no, I really can't navigate that. But there are other people who help to maintain that group and they navigate that path when people do post. But you can't hide. Okay? Yeah, you have to go yesterday's Facebook Live from yesterday morning about what happened when I was at this restaurant. And, and that's what I said. I told somebody the other day, I suppose I can hide, but one day it might be you. And yesterday it was me. It's been me before, but at this age, where I live, how I behaved, I didn't see that coming. And the thing is, most of us don't. Most of us don't see, we're blindsided by racism. And especially microaggressions. That was a macroaggression, by the way. That wasn't micro. I was in a Bed Bath & Beyond when I first moved here, and I went to the lady at the cash register because I was irritated. The curtains that I wanted were on the website, but they weren't in the store. And I'm like, I'm trying to shop at a brick and mortar to make sure that people like you still have a job. Because when I first went and talked to her, she wasn't trying to hear me. Because I'm like, why do y'all have all these ugly curtains back here and such nice ones online? If you ever get your district manager's ear, or if you talk to a buyer, you should tell them that stuff back there, ain't nobody buying it. And, it would be really nice if you had, damask is really big. I love damask. I've got it in my room. I've had it in my bedroom. And I was explaining to this little old white lady why they should have more current decor items in their store. And she was just really and I was like, is there a problem? And she told me, well, I feel like you're hollering at me. And I looked at her and I said, I haven't raised my voice. In fact, the tone that I'm using to talk to you right now is the tone I used with her. So you feel like I'm raising my voice. Why is that? I said, is that because I'm a black woman telling you that I'm dissatisfied with something? Is that why you think I'm raising my voice at you? And she just couldn't answer. Perception is a son of a bitch. I'm always amazed with that. That if we speak up, we're hostile, we're aggressive. I guess feelings are facts to them. All the reasons why these Beckys keep calling the police on us. What you think somebody's doing. You can't stand in your parking lot and wait for AAA without some crazy drunk woman coming and screaming at you and talking about how they can have you arrested and how they have a gun. Yeah. And I really, really thought that, honestly, I knew it was a possibility again in my lifetime, but I really didn't see it coming. Which goes to show you that anybody can be victimized like this. And, the fact is, if he didn't do it on purpose because he thought it was funny. So, what's worse? Doing something like that to intentionally antagonize somebody, intimidate somebody, or to do it as a joke. He does not know enough about black people to know that you don't do that, especially not in the Trump era. You don't do that. So this person is walking around with those blinders on that, I said that I possibly could try myself. And see, that's what happens, though. You get a rude fucking awakening. And that's why I've never allowed myself to put on said blinders, because I realize that at any given time, it's going to be me. And you can never be prepared for a situation like that. Because, I've always been that G. I'm like, oh, that catch these hands. But when that happened, I'm sitting there like, the fuck? Is this real life? If you often look at videos where black people are being harassed, they are often surprised until it sinks in what's really going on here. And then we might get upset. We might call the police, but most of us don't call the police no more. If I thought I could have called the police without getting arrested, I would have. But you know how that is. We call the police on them for assaulting us, and we end up in jail. So, I did what was a good thing to do given my situation. And, everybody says that they, commend me for my behavior, but that was the spirits. And, it just, and pure and utter just fucking outdoneness that somebody would come to me like that. So, yeah, they don't understand the nuances of living under the shadow of racism and the legacy of slavery. They never will. I mean, especially the ones that are always talking about educate me. So, and now my daughter's sending me her Christmas list via text. It's time to go to bed, y'all. I just, I'm all over the place today. I wanted to show you the Dust to Onyx stuff. I'm glad you guys got to see it. Remember, dusttoonyx.com. You can get beautiful notebooks. Courtney, let me know if you guys sell lined notebooks, because my ass writes in curves and circles. And beautiful bags. I'll be carrying my second edition in these bags. And these are all based on her cards. Tote bags, and that absolutely beautiful gigantic scarf, which I am going to use as the wall hanging, because I believe this is the Conjurer. And I just love the infinity. I think this is the Conjurer or the Magician. I can't remember. Because I put my deck away because I refuse to use it till I get a new one. So, dusttoonyx.com. And like I said, we're going to work hopefully to sell the stuff through her website. And I just know, like, Courtney's just such a psychic, because she sent that's my favorite card, Courtney. When I pulled out that scarf, I cried. I was just like, oh my God. So yes. I like the lines, because I'll be writing like that, like I'm writing sigils, but I'm not. I'm trying to write in a straight line. I've always done that, but I'm still going to use the hell out of this book. And I hope that you all go to dusttoonyx.com. Courtney, put your link in here, and order from her. This is some beautiful stuff, y'all. And my thing is, if we're going to go with somebody's name or logo on our stuff, it should be one of ours. FUBU, goddammit, FUBU, for us, by us. Support each other. And that's another thing. Y'all clowned. Y'all really did clown. Black Friday weekend. But what we are now experiencing is a real fall off of sales throughout the Christmas season. Don't forget about us. We're still here. We're still making stuff, and we're working really hard to get your orders out. So just because I got my Christmas gifts just like everybody else, keep ordering. There we go. dusttoonyx.com. This bag is so well made. See, I sew. And so I pay attention to how a strap is put on a bag. So thick, machine washable. So it's all of the edges are finished and serged. The bag is reinforced with stitching across and stitching through it, another stitch here in the top. So I'm sitting here and I'm looking because I want to know what this bag is going to handle. So it's serged at the edge, but you've got a double seam sewn into the, you can't see this here, but trust me, I sew, so I know good quality things and made of good quality canvas. This is just good stuff, man. And I can't wait to see what Courtney does next because, you know, wow, this does stuff for us that hasn't been done before, you know? So really, really nice stuff. So before I can get on the website, head over to Courtney's and get yourself some swag. I'm going to get ready to go unless anybody has any questions. I'm getting ready to prepare for Hoodoo 201. We're having our first virtual class this weekend. I think I have like 11 participants, which that's a lot of boxes. We more boxes than we ever put together. And so what we did was we had the students sit in an orientation with the live students a few weeks ago, and they came up with their formulations. They emailed them to me. I gave them feedback, sent them back. And we are working in elementals. We are working in planetary alignments. We are working in gender designations. So we're moving up in how I teach this class because it's going to be very important for you depending on the intent of your spell. Especially if you want something to hold steady and not move, then you want to use air. You want something to happen quickly. You want to use fire. And, you know, when I went to Daughters of the Moon and I gave a lecture on fire in your magic, not one person could give me 5 feminine fire herbs. And I want to change that. I want you to know what you're working with. So once they finished all of their formulations and they emailed them to me, we packed their boxes last weekend, and that included herbs from, you know, the old apothecary over here, the same ones I sell online, in accordance with their formulas, and all their bottles and containers and all the stuff that I would give somebody here went out to them. Books and some supplies are not included. So I can imagine I have a really great group of students. Some of them worry the hell out of me, but they're really smart cookies. I have a feeling that I'll be announcing the January session as soon as this weekend is over. So get your dollars together. The price will be going up slightly. And it's going to be a web conference, but it's going to be live. I don't believe in recording. I don't believe in recording my sessions because this was a tradition that was taught in person, often by a family member or a mentor, and I don't want to lose that. Plus, niggas be bootlegging, and I'm not going to be having my recordings of this out and about. But the goal is to have less people in my house because it's my house, and I've seen the good and the bad of hosting these types of things here in my home, and that may change once I open a storefront. We'll see. So I just wanted to let you all know, yeah, you better duck. Worrying the hell out of me. Anyways, I will answer all your questions tomorrow. Okay, right now it's sleep o'clock, and I'm really, really, really busy. Hey, Faya, thank you so much for supporting me yesterday. All of you all who chimed into that video. Like I said, it took me over 24 hours to even call those people and tell them what happened. And yeah, you run, but you can't hide. That's why I keep trying to tell folks, you can't run from being black. Not in this country. I don't even know if there's a safe place for us in the world. So it is very likely to happen to you, either from a microaggression format to a downright aggressive format. And there is actually no real way to prepare for your response. But I found that in yesterday's situation, letting people know that I was upset, but not, physically harming him like I wanted to, was in my best interest. It was in his best interest too. So, you can't, we say these things. We say, let somebody try me, ho, and see what I'll do. But you never know till you're in that situation. And I remember Bee Sting was talking about a situation that either she was in or she witnessed, and people wanted to know, well, why didn't you fight and do this, that, and the other? And she was like, I had my babies with me. And that was the same thing with me. I had my baby with me. And she couldn't even drive herself home if I got arrested. So, as much as you think that you're going to pop off like that until somebody jumps up in your face like that, it was utter shock. I was shocked, shooketh, shock, and whatever, because I'm just like, is this real life? I'm like that kid from the dentist. We had just come from the dentist too. I'm like, is somebody high here? What's really going on? So thank you guys. We'll see what they say, but and it happened. That was my response. It was just what it was. And even though we live in this non-post-racial environment, you never know when something like that is going to happen to you. I have a lead foot, but baby, since I done moved to Ohio, I done reduced my speed considerably. I remember when they pulled me over, I forgot to turn on my headlights, and my 16-year-old's in the car screaming, what did you do? Because she knows, being pulled over by the cops, you may not come home. And so, and it's a shame. And what they don't seem to realize is that we live with this every day. We live with the constant vigilance that we have to watch everything and be very cognizant of everything, because we never know when some shit's going to pop off. And I feel less threatened in a hood than I do in these affluent neighborhoods. When I'm at home on the west side going to get some rib tips, I've never been jumped. I've never had my purse stolen, and I've never had anybody scream in my face. So when people want to talk about what's a safe place, Middle America is not a safe place for us. And we have to understand that that is a possibility in our lives. And I'm really glad that I did not let that possibility ever escape my thought process. Even though it is a very painful existence to live with every day, that somebody is going to treat you badly because of your race, or not think about your race when they're treating you badly, and how you may take that type of joke differently than somebody who's not subject to racial oppression. And so because of that, even in the nicest areas, you have to be on guard. You have to watch your back. You have to travel in packs, and you got to keep your cell phone on, because I just wish my daughter had recorded that man. I really do. In a day and age when people record everything. But I think we were both just blown away. And it in the moment, nobody thought to do that. So, watch out for each other. If you see somebody being mistreated, do something about it. Like I said, there's like those gentlemen. There was a gentleman in Seattle who lost his life because some racist was harassing Muslim women. But like I said yesterday, I would rather die than be mistreated like that. I'm not going to live my life where people think they have carte blanche to behave in an unprofessional, threatening manner to me anywhere. And that's probably the biggest lesson we can teach our kids. You cannot allow this to happen to you. Because if we keep allowing it to happen, they're going to keep doing it. And that's just the reality. So you all be blessed, and thank you for looking in on me, and thank you for loving me, even when I'm not very lovable sometimes. I appreciate you. And I appreciate people, friends, customers, clients, people who have never bought anything, people who spend lots of money. I appreciate all of you because, you guys really showed me who you were yesterday. And probably if I'd had to suffer alone with something like that, I probably wouldn't even be able to talk about it today. So thanks. Love you. Have a good night.